It's an exciting time. Can't wait. Glad that game week is here. We've been practicing. It seems like a long time. I think this team has moved forward. And it'll be good to see Saturday. How far we've moved. There's no question that guys have put in a lot of work, and I'm ready to see them play. And with that, I'll start taking questions.
Raise your hand. We'll get a mic to you. Great.
I know this offensive side of the ball, but your thoughts on Ben Hicks being named starting quarterback?
Well, I didn't even know that, but I'm happy whoever starts, and that's good and that's great, and I look forward to seeing him play well.
Hey, Chief, you got several true freshmen on your two deep. I know this was a pretty highly rated class anyway, but you're a veteran coach. What's it like having all those young guys on your depth chart? What kind of camp do you think they've had, and is this something you anticipated given your needs and those guys' credentials coming out of high school?
Yeah, and I like to describe it like this. I enjoy coaching a young football team because when they're young, sometimes they don't know that they don't know. And they're going to go work hard and play hard and do those kind of things. And I've been around, at other stops where, we were every bit as young as this team is. And, certainly, they grew into really good football teams. And, that's what we intend to do here, with some of these young guys. Some of them are very talented. Some of them will get an opportunity to play early, and we got to have them. Depth is a big issue when you start looking around the SEC. If you don't have depth, you may play good at times, but when you get in some of those games where you got to play 69 to 89 plays, I just pull those off the top of my head there. But when you got to play that many plays, then you got to have depth, and ideally, we'd like to keep our guys to around 50 plays.
You said you'd be running a lot of 4-3 in this game. What about Portland State and their personnel that they run that makes you guys lean to that?
Well, they play a lot of 12 personnel. They play 2 tight ends. The thing about it is you never know where they're going to be. They'll be in 2 tight ends and they'll be in empty. Won't be anybody in the backfield. So they mix it up and they give you a lot of formation in the boundary. But they play some big personnel. And run a little bit of option. It's got 2 quarterbacks that they've played, in almost every game, and it'll be interesting to see what their plan is. And certainly we got to, there's some things that we're going to do because of who we are, and then we got to find out how they're going to try to attack us, and we may have to make adjustments as we go. But we will play some base personnel for sure.
John, where do you think you're improved?
Well, I think the biggest thing is just understanding our philosophy and what we do and how we do it. I think this is, and I know I'm not fooled by this. Our players understand what they're doing now, and they're playing faster. The same kids are playing faster than they did last year. And you can slow players down. You can try to do too much scheme-wise, and who knows, maybe we did that at times last year, but our players are more comfortable with the scheme, and they can cut it loose and play. I think probably at linebacker we're probably as improved as much at that position as in terms of depth. Getting that second guy and maybe even a third guy from time to time. We've probably improved as much there as we have any position.
How helpful has it been basically to have the same first team defense that you started preseason with that you're going into the game week with?
Well, I'll just the best way to answer that is to say, some of the best teams that I've been around are the ones that started almost every single week the same 11. And obviously we got it right when we started the season and we kept them healthy, and but those have been some of the better teams that I've been on.
Chief, I guess they're tight end at 89, Charlie. I'm not even going to try to pronounce his last name. It starts with a T, but yeah. I guess he's an NFL caliber type guy. He had big games against Oregon last year. What's your take on him?
Well, he's a really good player, and he is. He has NFL talent. There's no doubt about that. And certainly that's nothing that we're not accustomed to. When you play against the SEC teams, you play against that kind of talent every week. But yeah, he's a really good player, and I think he'll end up having a long career in the NFL.
Coach, 3 defensive ends are seniors. You guys said first to start of fall practice. They had to play well for you this year. Does it look like they're coming along like you thought they would?
Yeah, and Steve Caldwell's done a great job, with them, and it's I think again, mention the linebackers is in terms of what they had done in terms of improvement, but that front has gotten better, and some of it is going to include freshmen. So it'll be in my opinion, it'll be as good or a better front than we had last year, and those seniors have to lead the way. When you start looking at what inside what Sosa's doing for us right now, he's and he's playing so much better, and he played good for us last year, but he's playing so much better for us right now, and he can be disruptive, and he's going to get some attention too. But those 3 ends are doing a really, really good job for us. And again, we got to bring those other guys along. And it's Coach Morris mentioned to us as a staff, that we're building a program, not just a football team. And that's what we got to do. And we got to get those young kids ready to play. But it's good to have those 3 seniors, out there leading the way for them.
I want to ask you about your cornerbacks a little bit. Both of them are sophomores. I wonder what you feel about having 2 sophomores out there. And it's not often that a guy goes safety to corner, and so particularly on Busta, what you think of him?
Well, we're excited. Those 2 guys are going to have to play well for us, and we feel very, very comfortable having both of them out there. And again, that'll be another position where there'll be some freshmen that'll play for us. Those guys aren't going to be able to carry the load by themselves, but I think we will be again, in my opinion, before the season's over, we'll be better at that position than we were last year, and that's exciting to know as you watch them grow. And then we got to continue to recruit. In our scheme, you got to have really, really talented corners for it to hold up, and you got to have pass rushers. And we're getting closer to that. We're not completely there yet, but we're getting closer.
Any more for Chief?
Watched the first game Saturday night. I assume you probably saw snippets of it. The tackling is never very good early. And talked to a couple of old defensive coordinators, and they kind of winced at that. And how much did y'all tackle, and can you tackle enough in August now to be sharp early?
Well, that's a question that'll be asked forever, and I understand it. I think we did. And I think you can practice tackling without being, as physical as you have to be in the game. You can practice technique, and I will assure you this, even the first day we went out there, we started practicing technique and footwork and approach and all the things that are important to being a good tackler. And, the thing that you have to do is you have to be able to defeat blocks, and you have to be able to tackle to play defensive football. And, there's been very, very few days that we've been on that field that we did not practice tackling. It's going to be, it's going to be one of the first things we do. And you can't, you don't ever, as a coach, you don't ever get enough of it. But at some point, you have to make a decision to get them to the field healthy.
You're going to be in the booth or on the field?
I'm going to be on the field.
Last one, Mark.
Yeah, Chief, you talking about, follow up on the freshmen. 3 of those guys are in the secondary. I mean, as a veteran coach, does that cause you any sleepless nights, or how do you feel about that?
Well, like I said, really, and I don't even want to reference other places that have been, but we've gone in and we've done that, and we were not at our very best that first year that happened, but you look a year down the road and we were at our very best. Okay, and I'll tell you one story about a guy that was a freshman, and I won't tell you what school he was at, but when he got to fall camp, we were wondering whether he's going to ever have the size to be able to play, and over the summer he got a little bigger, got looked a little bit more the part. And make a long story short, we get in the fall practice, and he's just getting rolled all over the place, you know. But he was a quality young man, and about mid-season, you know, he started holding his own. And we said, hey, look, you know, we think you're getting to the point to where, and this is true now, we think you're getting to the point to where you can play. You know, what do you think? You know, we got 5 games already played. You know, what do you think? He said, well, Coach, I'll play. I don't want to go in at the end of the game and play 3 or 4 plays, you know, for 5 or 6 games and burn a year. Well, make a long story short, as smart as we were coaches, we decided to go ahead and redshirt him because we didn't know how much he would play. Well, we redshirted him. He came back, played 2 years, and was the 15th player taken in the draft. So, you know, we're excited about getting those young kids on the field, and we're going to put them out there and see what they can do under live fire. But look forward to it.
Was that a lineman?
Yeah, it was a lineman. Thank you, guys.